A single ancient Hebrew word, almost unnoticed, may offer a completely different way to understand why Iran is drawing so much attention in 2026. And once you see it, it becomes difficult to unsee. This isn't a prediction, just a perspective drawn from the original text. This is the Hebrew mystery of Elam. Global shifts are forcing a deeper question. Where do current events fit within larger patterns? The biblical text presents a map that directs attention toward the region of modern Iran in a way that stands out. What becomes difficult to ignore is how this perspective touches the quiet concern many feel about stability and the world taking shape in 2026. At this stage of life, questions about the future the next generation will navigate carry extra weight. In the original Hebrew, the root Olam relates to concealed time and hidden eternity. Positioned nearby stands the name Elam. The structure of the ancient text makes this connection worth noticing. It could suggest a destiny that remained veiled for centuries. Across multiple passages, this structure appears with surprising consistency. The language carries a spiritual significance that goes beyond today's political boundaries. At a certain point, this stops feeling purely theoretical and begins to connect with real questions about family stories and personal purpose. There may be elements within a family line that only become clear over time. Jeremiah 49 contains an oracle that focuses on Elam and speaks of the breaking of its bow, a central symbol of strength. In the original wording, the detail is unusually specific. The passage describes a form of recalibration rather than random events. The reference to fierce anger appears distinct. This highlights correction aimed at opening new possibilities. For many, this lands closer to home than expected. This pattern appears more consistent than it first seems. Ancient Elam's territory overlaps with areas now known as Khuzestan province, a region linked to important infrastructure. The people associated with Elam scattered over time, with traces of that lineage appearing across different continents. As alliances and dynamics evolve, this area moves into sharper focus within scriptural discussion. These overlaps support a steadier approach when following developments that affect long-term stability. These reflections often surface more strongly when viewed through decades of personal experience. History tends to follow recognizable patterns. Events connected to Elam carry echoes that feel familiar in the present time. The bow in the text can be seen as a symbol of concentrated human strength and control. Its breaking raises questions about what needs to yield for other forms of order to emerge. Across centuries, this sequence appears again, in different forms but with the same underlying structure. These patterns are often easier to see in hindsight, but they may already be unfolding. After a period of upheaval, the text mentions the possibility that a throne could be established in Elam, an idea that stands out among similar passages. This points toward a demonstration of sovereignty taking shape in a place once defined by its own strength. Accounts from within the region describe quiet growth in underground faith communities, with gatherings continuing despite difficulties. The scattered lineage associated with Elam persists in various places, potentially carrying forward elements of spiritual memory. These ideas often resonate more deeply when connected to questions about the inheritance passed across generations. Biblical accounts sometimes include layers that suggest principles of alignment and order. The bow may represent a concentrated form of human strength. Its breaking could open space for a different kind of stability to take hold. Scripture can be viewed as describing realignment, where older patterns gradually yield to a sense of higher order. The idea of scattering may function like the dispersal of seed, what appears as loss potentially planting possibilities in wider areas. Shifts observed in the region could align with this broader process of tension and gradual change. In personal life, many have experienced moments where a previous source of strength needed to shift so something more lasting could develop. This theme of change, followed by gathering, invites thoughtful consideration of personal and family narratives. There may be older strengths or fractures in a lineage that relate to ideas of renewal. Many carry questions about ancestral journeys, movements, challenges, or quiet endurance through difficult times. The Elam account may provide one framework for viewing those threads differently. The mention of return can be understood as pointing towards spiritual homecoming and realignment with deeper purpose. These reflections often surface more strongly in later seasons of life. Sometimes, even a small step can begin that alignment. The text concludes with a latter days reference suggesting that captivity related to Elam could reverse and people return toward ancestral connections. This idea may serve as one milestone within a wider timeline, illustrating that purposes can outlast temporary systems. Developments in the region can be observed for signs of both pressure and growing openness. Quiet growth in faith communities sometimes continues even when external conditions remain challenging. Attention to these scriptural markers can provide a steadier sense of orientation during times of uncertainty. The recognizable structure of history shows recurring sequences: strength challenged, scattering occurring, new order suggested, and return anticipated. Elam's account may invite each person to consider their place within such patterns. Family lines affected by history could carry dormant possibilities of renewal ready to surface at the right season. This outlook may help transform concern about current shifts into a form of focused expectancy. Stories accumulated over decades of both difficulty and faithfulness can gain fresh perspective when viewed through this ancient lens. What area of personal or family legacy might be open to its own process of renewal? The real value of exploring this mystery lies in personal application. It encourages an honest look at where older patterns may be shifting and what new alignment could be forming. Practical steps might include steady prayer regarding the region, thoughtful conversations about family spiritual heritage, and choices that prioritize lasting principles. As events continue to unfold, the Elam passage offers both a note of caution and an invitation toward openness to divine order. No place or story lies entirely outside the reach of sovereign purpose. The same principle may apply to every individual journey and family line. The question is no longer just about the region, but about how these patterns might already be touching personal story, legacy, and the choices made moving forward.